Hi again there. This is Tom Williams, and I just was reading in my Bible, and I thought of something I could share. Um, in John chapter 9, it says, "As Jesus passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. The disciples asked him, saying, 'Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?' Jesus answered, 'Neither hath this man sinned, nor his parents, but that the works of God should be manifested in him. I must work the works of him that sent me, while it is day, and the night cometh, when no man can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world.'" Jesus is speaking about this man that he goes on to heal in the pool of Siloam. But he speaks of this man. He had sinned not to be born blind. Just like most of us, we sin not to be in the situation we're in. My situation came later in life. I think I was in my latter 20s when I started noticing pain in my ears. And I went to see an eye, nose, and throat doctor. He couldn't give me any advice except for nasal spray, things like that to open up my nasals, and my sinuses for my ears. Well, then, as the time went on, my eyes started really hurting too, and I noticed even more my cheek. There were times where I would just I would feel so crushed at work that I really felt like I couldn't work, but I had to work just to keep moving and to motivate myself to push through it. Well, then there was a day that I remember I couldn't do it anymore. So I had my wife. She came and picked me up at work, and we went to the emergency room. Well, them not being neurologists themselves, they pondered it down after they took an MRI of my head that they couldn't see anything, and they offered me pain prescriptions, which I didn't want any of because I knew it was something that had to be solved. Like, I didn't want to just start taking oxycodone just for the fun of it, which it seems like nowadays a lot of that goes on for innocent, little things, and major things, of course. But so I think it was the next day I was at work. I still felt so awful. I mean, it just would not go away. It just kept getting harder and harder. It was like a migraine times 100, plus my face just having electrical shocks, and just feeling like my flesh is being ripped. My eye is just being sucked out of my head, being pushed out. And so then I went to my local doctor, and at the time it was a man, and he ended up, he looked at me. I told him I went to the emergency room last night. They took an MRI. They said they saw nothing, but I still hurt, and they gave me a pain prescription, but I didn't want it. I want to know what my problem is. And, like, I hate to say it, a lot of times doctors don't listen to us. They think they know it all. And I'm not saying every doctor. I'm just saying there are some that just, and they probably just thought I wanted drugs. I live in an area where drugs are high, and oxycodone's overused, and it's an epidemic here, which I'm not sure why doctors even prescribe it, but they do. And I believe at times they over prescribe. And that's a lot of our problems. Mine is I am dependent on pain medication now, and sometimes it does take me out of my own realm. Like, I have no idea what's going on. I have times where I just sleep, and there's times where I'm frustrated, angry, and all kinds of things. But it's a managed dependent on drugs. It's not just freely flowing, and I try to manage it as best I can. I try to use it when I know I'm going to have an episode. I try to use it the right way when I am having an episode. Which right now I'm hurting my eyes and my nose, my mouth, my tongue. I'm very dry in the mouth right now. So if you could just be patient with me. But I think doctors overprescribe these things. They don't really listen to you. I believe nurses listen far more to you than doctors do. So this went on for about another year, and I was just trying to do everything I could to manage it myself. Vitamins, minerals, all kinds of things that just trying to manage it myself. And I got to the point where I had to go back to my local doctor, which at this time I had a female doctor, and I would say her name because she is a very lovely woman. She's, she listened to me, she listened to my wife, she took it all in, and she actually said, I think you have trigeminal neuralgia, which it gave a name to me, even if at the time it could have been a false name, but it gave me a name to study, to look up, to read upon. So she said she would call a neurologist in, Nashville, Tennessee. And, she got me with, and this is all God. God has been a great part of my life. God has done so many great things for me. I mean, I could go on and on, but God did this. The neurologist I was going to see, he majored in eye areas and sinuses and stuff like that. But when I got to see him, like I was sitting in the room where the patients sit, and I could hear him talking. It took me 6 months. They said it took me a year. They said it took me almost 2 years. I canceled once. I had to come back. This doctor was he was busy, very solidly busy. Well, they actually asked me, how long it took me, and when I told them a week, I believe they all could have just slapped me, maybe. They were all astonished that it took me a week, and my doctor just happened to call on the day that a patient had called just before she had called, and the patient canceled. So at this point, the neurologist says that he believes I have trigeminal neuralgia, but he needs to send me to another specialist, which I went to that specialist and I got diagnosed. But just to be able to sit there and thank God for getting me in 1 week, and where people had to wait 6 months to a year to see this doctor, it was amazing, and he's been that way throughout my whole testimony of this disorder. My church, oh my gosh, I could say so many things about Twin City Baptist. It's a church that's in Tazewell, Tennessee. If you ever come by, please stop in. Sunday mornings we have service, Sunday school at 10, 11 o'clock service, and an evening service we have at 5 o'clock. And Wednesdays is a 7 o'clock service. If you're ever in Tazewell, Tennessee, or Knoxville, we're not that far from Knoxville, just please stop in and hear God's message. My pastor, Brother Todd Peoples, he is an amazing preacher. We have a lot of amazing guests that come in and preach. I'll refresh back to all that later. But, just be able to get in and to see this, God, Jesus had answered and said, neither hath this man sinned nor his parents, but the works of God should be manifested in him. We are the works of God, each one of us, no matter what we're going through. Like I said, I have a dysfunction. I get very weak. I have a hard time standing and stuff. But I am a steward of God, that even though I'm suffering, I must do the works of him that gave me life. I have everlasting life. If my physical body were to die tomorrow, I would be living forever. We're on this earth, this beautiful place. I love America. I love I could go on and on about that, but I'll pass. But we're on this beautiful place. We've been given the greatest gift of all, salvation. Our family, if we're a hard-nosed Christian and we love our family, we should be just blowing their ears out with Christ, especially my children. My children love to hear about God. My children are, they teach me things from what they've learned, and I love to see God from a child's perspective. It's an amazing and loving thing, and a child just offers so much. But this man, he says, he nor his parents have sinned, but he should be a manifest of him, of God. And I should glorify God throughout what? Everything. Even the pain. Glorify God that I have pain. Glorify God that I have pain. I have my family with me. Glorify God that I have pain. I have a wonderful, wonderful church. And I have other churches that I could go on about. Riley Memorial, Southside Baptist. I mean, I could go on about all these churches that pray for me and that love me, and churches up north, and I have churches in the south. I couldn't name all the churches in Texas that pray for me and my family and that help. I will admit, currently I'm not able to work. I'm on disability. Because I can't climb ladders. I was in maintenance, and I can't do any of the things that I used to be able to do before all the surgeries. But God manifested us. I mean, when I read that word at first, it seems shocking. It seems, why would he do that to a person? And I always remember what Brother Campbell said. Brother Campbell said, why not me? And I know you people are struggling, because I'm struggling right there with you. But please think of it, why not me? Just like this man, he didn't sin nor his parents sinned to make him a manifest of God's work. When he was healed, he jumped for joy. I mean, he leaped. He was so excited. Do you know how many people witnessed that? I mean, there had been hundreds of, maybe even thousands, I don't know, but I just think about that. How he's leaping for joy. How he's just so excited to share God's work. Even though God had healed him, God had used him all that time, because people saw him sitting there every day. And then they saw what God did to him. And I'm not saying I'm going to be healed. I'm not saying you're going to be healed physically. But I am telling you, God is healing you. He's healing you spiritually if you just let him in. And I'll tell you what, I love the Lord. I love his word. I love my family. I love my church. I love this great nation. And I love you all. I may not know each one of you on a just a normal basis. But I know I love you because God, he's told me to love you. How could I not love you? Because he loves me. He first loved me. He first loved you. He's so great to us. We sin not to have this, but we are made manifest to prove the works of God, to show others. Think about how many people we could reach, each one of us. I just wanted to give you a little bit of that and share what God has given me, and to say once again, love you all, and I hope you'll continue to watch, and I hope you'll join. I know many people have seen this, and I hope they'll join to maybe push me forward to see to see what God is doing for me, see God's progress. Thank you, love you, and have a blessed day.